That was a fantastic introduction. It kind of makes me think, really, who am I? What else will I add to that long list of labels? Because it's something that I just stay away from, but at the same time, it's like I want to tell people, but this is also what we can do, guys. Like, don't just shy away, right? Because it's always so visual, that connect. They want to look for labels. And if people look for labels, you give them as many as possible. All right. So, when it came to that moment when dearest Randa reached out to me to see if I wanted to be the speaker for Creative Mornings in Feb, and the theme was Divergent, um, shockingly, I was surprised because, like, what? Me? Like, how? And it took some time to understand how could this be so different to what I actually do in terms of facilitating and kind of shooting ideation methods into clients and students to get them to kind of broaden and increase their mental elasticity. But when the lens came onto me, I was like, what do I say about this? And how do I paint a story? And then this illustration that you see popped up quite recently, and I was so inspired by it. Do definitely drop in your messages, guys, on what are the meanings you see in this illustration. But what I see is a creation of possibilities. There's so much movement in this illustration, right? And I see an internal creation blending in with an external, right? The internal girl and the external girl are coming to a central point. And while they're converging in the center, they're expanding at polar opposites. And there's something so beautiful about that. And I really want to focus on that side of things, on how much of what you can do is actually up to you by the end of it. So, what is it about our life? You know, we are constantly in motion, and there's so much motion around us. We learn, we fail, we strive, we thrive, we laugh, we cry, and we succeed. Even while we just are, we are moving. Even if you feel like you're sitting still right now and listening, there is movement happening inside of you. But what is it about certain people who seem to unravel just a touch of a degree more from that motion, who seem to be able to move just a little faster than the rest of us? Well, they know it. They're actually quite aware they are in that motion, and they feed that motion, right? Awareness is so key about your life. Life is not moving you, you are moving through life. So let's go back to what John Mayer used to say about divergent thinking. Our economy is built upon convergent thinkers. People that execute things get them done. But artists and designers are divergent thinkers. They expand the horizon of possibilities. I disagree with John. I don't think it's just artists and designers who are divergent thinkers. I come from a country of India where we actually have a term called jugaad, or like the innovators say, household grassroots innovation. We have lived our life trying to find multiple ways to do things without having to pay money for it. No. It's not just artists and designers, my friend. We all can be divergent thinkers. But what to focus on, what John has said, is that it's about expanding the horizon of possibilities. Really trying to focus on what more you can do. Now, me here speaking to you about this topic would have you perceive that I host this mindset. And partly, yes, in my work frame, it's so clear, the structure, the process, the rhythm of it has become so transparent. But personally, it is sort of a struggle. I'm completely the opposite of this mindset, actually. It's something that I try to practice. And that's something I really want to share to you guys about, on the things I have realized and things that I'm currently doing to kind of break that rhythm in my internal phase. And it's all about just getting comfortable with discomfort. So, hi, this is Richie, and I'm trying and practicing to get comfortable with discomfort every day just to touch a little more. And I hope you guys can try doing the same thing too. Um, and the thing about the box, right, is that there are only so many ways you can use this shape. There's so many ways that you can fit it in. And the thing that I had to realize that I was quite a box myself. I had to have a plan. I had to know where I was going. And I was very comfortable with the little things that I knew about my life. So I have my one little daughter, I have my husband, I have this house, and I'm very, very comfortable with that. There's nothing that needs to shake me. But if I want to progress and if I want to continuously develop and kind of shake up that mindset, I need to start shaving off, those sharp edges, start making myself a bit more round, start making myself a bit more fluid. And what's the beauty about this element, right? Is that, when shit gets too hot, water can just turn to gas. Shit gets too cold, it's fine. I'm just going to turn into ice. It's made valleys, mountains, all across the Milky Way. I mean, you cannot really mess with it. It can take the shape of a glass. It can take the shape of a box. It can take the shape of any godforsaken artist ceramic vase that you have seen and define it for you. And that's something that we need to try to become, right? That when you sense that resistance to any new exposure, to any new idea, to any new event that happens in the world, that resistance means, hey, buddy, you're not so fluid enough. And if you can't respond to it well, how can you act on it well, right? The thing with divergent thinking is that people think it's about reacting to a situation, but you need to prepare your mindset to kind of absorb the situation as much as possible, to kind of unravel and swim through it for you to be able to come up with the best output after that. It's not about having a toolbox of ideas. It's about knowing and trying to shape yourself to allow and permeate through those issues. But yeah, in life, that was not me. Fluid is something that I am not. You ask my friends, you even ask Hitain, my husband who's right here, he'll be like, what is she talking about? Fluid is not Richie. I mean, I used to say no so often that it became my face. If I don't smile, it's like a default no that's plastered on it. And I remember and I recall I had a career planned out. I'm going to graduate, become a graphic designer, then an art director, and then a junior creative director. I mean, so unique, right? Like if you've never heard this career plan ever. And I was like, 3 years here, 3 years there. And it was so frustrating because the plan was actually working, but it was not really making me happy. And I had no idea why. So after 3.5 years, I got my first art director job. And I didn't even think about it. I'm like, okay, it came at the right time. I'm just going to say yes. That's it. It's on time. Life, thank you so much. And it did not work out. I just, nothing made sense. 3 days into the job, I felt so much resistance in me. I was so confused. I had no idea about the culture. And to give a context here, my graphic designer job was in a retail company and I jumped into a startup agency. I mean, like, what? So it's just like completely different people, mindsets, language, the way they speak. I had my first breakdown 3 days into it. I remember I came back home and I just fell to the floor and I'm crying. And Hitain is coming running in. He has no idea what's happening. And I was like, I just got to get out. I just got to get out. I'm going to send them an email and I'd say, I can't do it. I got to escape. Like, this is not working. Because I used to think resistance means this is wrong, that it's not going to help out. Because, and what that means and what I understood when I actually got out of that breakdown was that I believed I held all the pieces to my life, all the puzzle pieces. I believed that I had control. I could not trust life to give me the next puzzle piece, right? So, one of the things about being divergent is to have confidence that you will find a way, not that you have one already. Trust and that it can manifest. It's so easy to say this, but when you realize it, when I realized after the breakdown that I just have to go with it. the idea is that you always want to come out winning, right? But maybe it's not just about that. You need to come out learning. That is way more important than winning or failing. So I did continue with the job, and I told myself I would give myself 6 months. And around 3 months in, I was going through a creative blog, and I got to know about the shout out that was happening from an agency in Sao Paulo, right? They were calling for creatives all over the world, and they were asking to join in on a bootcamp session in Sao Paulo during FIFA, free accommodation, free dining, free beers. I mean, what more would I need? I just need to like pay the tickets and fly down there, right? And it just felt like at that moment, I did not think that I wanted to end up there. I was like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to submit my information and see what happens. And the thing with me was, I wasn't ever confident enough to enter in competitions because I never believed I could win. So I never tried in the first place. So what I did this time was I wanted to try, like present myself into that universe that, hello, I exist too. Consider me as well. And what happened was that I actually broke one of my shields. So the resistance started loosening up. And I was letting in more light of this world because, guys, there is so much light in this world. But regardless what's happening, light always shines through. And Sao Paulo was the first rays of light that really helped to change me. And what happened? I got introduced to design thinking. A couple of months later, Origami Lab started, and the rest is history. And while that was happening, I came to realize when I started my first consultation project with, God, a 45-year-old company. It's just that our mind is as much like a legacy organization as the clients that we deal with, right? Like, think about it. I have a 32-year-old mind. So imagine if you're going to go consult on a 32-year-old company. The first thing you'll be like, oh God, my God, the silos. Or, oh God, they just do not know this shit. And what are they going to do? And are they even going to be, able to understand what we bring in? Do they even know what design thinking is, or research, or even stakeholder? God forbid if I even introduce that, right? Try to internalize the thoughts now into your mind. What would you do to your mind, which is like a 33 or 40 or a 25-year-old legacy environment? What are the tactics would you guys use? Why don't you guys share it with me? See how you have been able to bring in a conviction into your client and try to apply the same conviction to yourself. And please come to me if it does not work out, because so far it always does. Whatever I preach to my clients, I always practice to preach that to myself. That try one little thing just differently. That first seed, right? Like the first breakthrough for me, Sao Paulo is such a remarkable moment because that was my first breakthrough moment. And when you see the clients going, aha, isn't that so special? Like, wouldn't you want that for yourself too? And for free, you don't need to pay anyone for this. You can do this by yourself. Which kind of led me realize that as much as you would want to think about problem solving, it comes down to how you look at it, right? Your point of view. Which then I was like, I want to build some sense out of this, like this word. What is this point of view? So many of times we argue with our clients, our husbands, our families. Everyone has a certain perspective or problem that's shaped by their life experiences. It's valid through their eyes. And they use that to project truths to what they see, to what they sense, and to the context that they're referring to. They use that to come up with avenues for themselves. And that shapes their visibility of life. Your experiences informs your knowledge of things, informs how you look at life. Now, if you want to improve on your problem solving, you need to refine your point of view, right? So you need to refine your perspective on how you look at things. That could be done by trying and learning and exposing yourself to topics that you're unfamiliar with. If you want to change your truth or know that your truth is just an opinion, you need to open up your source of knowledge. And that feeds your visibility and that helps you to bring more clarity to problem solving. Read new books, watch movies in different languages if you can't travel anywhere. Try joining in new networks. One of the few remarkable yeses I did was to join Creative Bunch. And so far, I'm still smiling, so things are still going well on that side. And that's what the power is. Like the strength of your mind outweighs the strength of your skills, you know? Yes, I do say on LinkedIn, yeah, I'm a strategist, researcher, designer, and storyteller and consultant and whatever. It's just because it's my mindset that helps me and enables me to do all of these things. I'm not showing off. I can do these things, but I don't just do it by myself. I bring in partners, but the belief is that I can do it. Every opportunity we've gotten from our clients and prospects has been so remarkably different. And I can't just seem to understand how does that even happen? And even when I say yes, I don't even know how I'm going to do the project. But I just put a smile like, you know what, we can do it. And we find the right people and we learn, you know. You need to learn. You need to keep on telling yourself that if I'm going to help in problem solving, I need to help in learning about this problem. I'm not the expert already. You hear about those clients, right? Who seem to just always hold all the pieces of the puzzle and they'll be like, oh, look, these are these 20 little puzzle pieces, just put them together and you're good to go. Bye-bye, ta-da. And that's not what it is. Maybe those puzzle pieces do not work together. But the idea is for your mind to keep on strengthening the mind, your perspective, your experiences, your resources, the way you look at it, the way you perceive information, your ego, how much can you melt that? That sails you through resistance, not your skills. And I'm not saying skills are redundant, so don't start hiding in your degrees and stuff like that. But it's a mindset that sustains a lot more. So one of the things that we do at home and we recently started doing is that, okay, I have to start piloting new experiences on my life. Like this is getting too much. I keep on telling my clients, pilot a new initiative or a new meeting engagement or a new product idea. I was like, why don't I do this? So what we started doing is that once every 10 days, we try this new exotic fruit. So this one over here was actually our few successes. So this is like the 1 out of 4 that we actually liked. And this is a tamarino. And the idea is that you cut it, you add some sugar, and it tastes like passion fruit custard. It's delicious. And the idea is that you just buy one piece of the fruit. So even if you don't like it, it does not hurt that has gone to waste, right? You do not pick up 1 kilo. So you try to minimize your new experience as much as possible. If it's delicious, you can try it again and you can scale it up. But if you don't like it, it's a moment you can walk away from. And you've learned that there's something that you don't like. Now, this is the mindset that I tend to have at home. I have Excel sheets about our life, cash flows, when are we going to buy things, what, who's going to get this when are we going to do this and that. I have Excel sheets, not how I work through my life. And I want to get to this point, just like my daughter. She loves to wear this hat to kind of celebrate that we're just living by the end of it, guys. You know, nothing has to stick to rows and formulas. And I want to see your mindset. I want to see if is there anything around your room, and it's going to be like scavenging activity 2.0 inspired by Cat. What is it? Like if one of you guys, let's pick 3 people who can talk about how does their mindset look like and what would they want to change it to? Who is it? Randa, do you want to pick someone?
I'll pick someone who's trying not to be picked. Aldrin. Was trying to
Oh,
hide.
I thought I could sit quietly, but apparently not. Okay, wait, hold on, just 1 second.
You may have moved the cat.
Okay, not sure if you guys can see this, but this is literally sitting on my bar every single day. It's a chessboard. And I read this somewhere that chess has somewhere close to 10 to the power of 238 million combinations of moves or outcomes. Now, the thing is, that's usually me, because what I tend to do is, and I connected with you, Richie, when you said this, I have Excel sheets for everything. When we want to travel, when we want to go, when we want to do grocery shopping, I go cycling every day, and my cycling is tracked based on stats, not based on the experience. So I literally empathize with you, because I've been trying to change that mindset for so long now. The problem is, every time I try to do that, something goes wrong, and then I revert, to my original state of Excel sheets and planning and stats, etc. Right? I don't have a representation of what I would like in this room, but actually this could be possibly it, where this was at one time my favorite painting. I picked this up at a yard sale somewhere. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but it's basically a Cuban car, like one of my favorites. Now, what I want to say about that is basically, to be more in terms of just going with the moment, because I picked that up without any planning. I saw it. Within 3 seconds, I made a decision, bought it at the yard sale, gave the money to the people, and then left with it. And it's been in my house now for, I think, about almost 20 years now. Right? So basically, that's the kind of mindset that I want to move into at some point in time to be able to try to figure out. So that is my little bit of story.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That was amazing. Randa, do we have time for one more, or do you want to jump on to Q&A?
Of course we have time. But I just wanted to follow up with you, Aldrin, on that. Thank you so much for the for Exhibit A and Exhibit B and showing us that. I love that you are very aware of where your mindset is, and I strongly would love that you don't change it, because that's your superpower, but maybe collaborate with someone else who is from the other mindset that you want to go back into, so that way you both rub off each other. But then that's awesome. So Asma, are you with us? Katya, are you?
You want me?
I
Yes.
knew you would pick me, but I'm not in the right mindset this morning, so I'll let someone else answer.
Okay, no problem. Kiran, do you want to share? Firas, you're it. Go ahead, Firas. What's your mindset like?
Just to be honest, this is the first time I'm thinking about this. What sort of mindset I have and what sort of mindset I would like to add. I think the sort of mindset I have is, I don't know what it's called, deconstructing. So deconstructing the core ideas and getting to the root of whatever I'm tackling. And sometimes things don't seem, sometimes things, what they seem on the surface is not really what's beneath. And that's the sort of mindset I try to have whenever I'm working with something that's that perhaps has deeper meanings or additional layers that can enhance the ideation, the development of designs, and so forth.
Thank you so much for that, Firas.
Thank you.
All right. I guess that wraps it up from my end.